Good evening. Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission of Indian River County. This is Thursday, February 27, 2014. And the first item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Jordan, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 2 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our February 13th, 2014 meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Did you get those, Maria?
No. Motion by Commissioner.
I didn't even know. I don't know who did. Jordan do the
Yeah.
original motion, and Todd was the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is unanimous. Item number 3 is a public hearing. I will start by asking if any of the commissioners have had any ex parte communications that would render them unable to make a fair judgment on this issue. Please speak up now. Seeing as there are none, I will ask if anybody intends to speak on this matter or thinks they might. I will ask please stand and be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Item number 3 is a public hearing, and it is for Audrey's Feed Store, and it's a request for a special exception use approval for an agricultural business to be known as Audrey's Feed Store. John, are you going to take us through this?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Zimmerman. And I'm going to go to the PowerPoint presentation. And this is a request for special exception use and concurrent major site plan. So they track through as a concurrent applications, and if one is approved, they both are approved. And I'd like to just briefly go over the special exception use process. The applicant needs to demonstrate that they meet their specific land use criteria, and they do this through the site plan process, and they do this providing information in addition to the regular site plan that also demonstrates the appropriateness and the compatibility of the use. And a special exception use might be a use that's not normally appropriate, but when it's demonstrated that it can meet these compatibility and demonstrates consistency and meets all the specific use criteria, it may then be approved. And the process it's approved through is the 2 public hearing process. This is the first public hearing tonight, and with this public hearing, you all are to consider the request and then make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. And that recommendation will be to approve with conditions, or deny the request. And with that, I'd like to get to the location, and it is located at the northeast corner of Oslo Road, that's 9th Street Southwest, and 66th Avenue. And the shaded area shows the overall ownership. The red is actually the area of development within the overall parcel of ownership. And as noted on the slide, all the surrounding property is zoned agricultural. And just because it's zoned agricultural doesn't necessarily mean it's all used agriculturally. And the slide shows the surrounding physical features. To the north, the property's actually been through the development process and approved for residential use. To the immediate north, again, separated quite a bit from the area development. To the north and west, you can see that there's a packing house, and to the east, you can see that there's an irrigation company that was constructed. And then largely the immediate area is vacant agricultural lands surrounding, and then you can see the area development overlaid with the design on the aerial. This is a detail of the site plan. Again, it shows the 2 buildings. The one building is in the center of the parking lot, and then an accessory building to the east of that. And this is the main building, stormwater, and then the surrounding improvements. As far as traffic circulation, there's proposed to be 2 full movement driveways, and that is for the foreseeable future. Eventually, 66th Avenue may have a median in it, and one of the driveways may be a right-in, right-out, and one may be full movement, but that's probably outside of the foreseeable future for now. As far as circulation goes, like I say, it's 2 two-way driveways, and you can drive in front or behind the building as you need to, and you can also access the rear building. And it also, you can access all of the parking spaces and go around in a circular if you have a larger vehicle, which is anticipated that some of the vehicles that come here will be larger vehicles. The next slide I'd like to go over is the dedications and improvements. And you can see the sidewalk highlighted in orange, and it is required to be either built or bonded for with this construction, and it is just for the area of development that it's shown. And then also the 10 feet of Oslo road right-of-ways to be dedicated to bring it up to the local road standard, and that's dedicated without compensation. And essentially what we do is 60 feet is the minimum for a local road that anybody would be responsible for, and the applicant's responsible for dedicating that without compensation to bring it up to the local road standard. In this particular instance, they're doing that for Oslo Road. More than the local road right-of-way exists for 66th Avenue right now, and the applicant set aside, essentially their design counts for the thoroughfare plan right-of-way, and that will be acquired at a later date from the applicant through a purchase at that point in time. And that they've set aside that future right-of-way so that accommodates the future expansion of both Oslo Road and 66th Avenue on the applicant's side. I'd like to touch base on the landscape plan, and just two things to highlight here. There is a buffer along the north area of development, a type B buffer that's proposed, and then the arterial road landscaping that'll wrap the two street sides as far as the view from the roadway. This is what the building will look like. It's an architecturally themed building, which would be consistent with a feed store. It is within a corridor. We're looking for a few more details just to make sure it's consistent with the corridor plan, but it certainly looks like it's got all the elements, and we just need a couple more details, and that's one of the conditions we're looking for. And with that, I would like to get to the recommendation, and staff does recommend that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the Board of County Commissioners grant special exception use approval for Audrey's Feed Store with the conditions as stated in staff's report, and those relate to the Oslo Road right-of-way, the architectural features, the buffer construction, and the construction or bonding of the sidewalks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Any questions from anyone? I have a question. Explain to me, take me through the idea of asking for only 10 of the 70 feet of right-of-way on Oslo Road.
And it's not that we're not asking for all of it, because we've notified the applicant what the ultimate right-of-way is. The applicant's design accommodates the acquisition of that in the future. And at this point in time, the county and the applicant can have a dialogue as far as acquisition, price, timing, those types of items. But our engineering departments has a budget, and they have priorities as to which right-of-way they would like to pursue at what time, so they don't want to necessarily have to acquire right-of-ways essentially out of sequence for their capital projects.
I understand. When when it says in here that in accordance with county code, take me through that. The 10 feet additional is the amount in the county code that we can ask for without compensation, but anything beyond that is not allowed by law.
That's correct.
Okay.
The local road is what we normally get out of a subdivision or any local demand, and that's basically your fair share. And then beyond that is right-of-way that would go towards the thoroughfare plan widening and larger capacity than just a local road that would necessarily pass by any property within the county.
Any other questions anybody has? Anybody like to propose a motion on this?
Oh, did you want to see if the applicant wanted to speak?
Yes, this is a public hearing. Well done.
Make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
That's Todd Brignano.
I'll
Is there a
second it.
You got that? That's
Yes,
it.
Yes, ma'am.
You really are down in the hole there, aren't you? I'm sorry. I will get used to. That's something to get used to. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Good luck in your new venture. Item number 4, Commissioners' Matters. Are there any? Does anyone have any matters they'd like to bring before? No. Item number 5, Planning Matters.
Just a couple things, Mr. Chairman. One, just to comment on the previous application, what was really kind of refreshing to staff, the layout and the architectural theme that was pursued. You know, it makes a lot of sense to allow agricultural businesses and agricultural industries in agricultural areas, but a lot of times what you wind up with is a warehouse-looking building. You know, and then if that ag business goes away, it's difficult to kind of convert it to something else that might fit in with the area. But with the design that's proposed by the applicant, there's a number of uses that could eventually work with that. So we thought that was worth commenting on. A couple of other things. It does not appear that we will need to have a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for March 13th. So we believe we'll be canceling the March 13th meeting. On the 27th, it's possible that we'll have some items we don't quite know yet. But I do want to report to you all that since your last meeting on February 18th, the Board of County Commissioners had a lot of discussion on an item for the known as the West Gifford Initiative overlay regulations, and Mr. DeBrawl and myself were up here answering some of the questions. And you will be seeing a land development regulation amendment for a portion of what we call West Gifford, west of 43rd Avenue. And that will be coming up at probably either the March 27th meeting, if we have that meeting, or April 10th meeting. So there's plenty of information on the website if you want to take a look at it ahead of time. It is legislative, but that will be coming your way pretty soon. And that's all that I had.
Thank you, Mr. Bowling. Attorneys' Matters. Are there any tonight?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you all. We're adjourned.